Who hired these guys?
Okay, I'm just trying to add his real quick. We're on all of them though. Everything's live. Okay. it's all
Okay,
live.
so
Now here's their. You can switch over here. That's your call-in number. Host or guest call-in 818-7.
why don't I mean
That's your call-in number. Right
It's
there.
the 573. And I'm gonna comment on yours. What the
okay,
call-in
and that's
number
all
is
I need
for
to see.
everyone.
Yeah.
Wow.
Call-in number.
It would be better if we could see ourselves and that number was written down, right? Obviously.
Should I have in my hand earlier?
Well, what's the number though?
573-422-4225.
Right, we need to write it down, gentlemen.
I got a pen. I'll write it down. I'll grab something. From the
Okay.
office.
They know the call-in number. Oh no, Dad, you need to be watching that anyways, because that's how you add these people in when they call you.
Okay. Well, next time we'll have 2 laptops, okay? Because this is
You actually got a caller right here. Let's let him in.
okay. Hey, how we doing, man?
Good evening. Good evening.
There we
Hey, it
go.
worked. How you
There we
doing?
go. We're live.
Can you hang on one sec?
Yes, sir.
Okay, hang on one sec. I just want to introduce everybody to Andrew really quick. My son kind of preemptively took that call, but I think we should do the due respect to Andrew, give his introduction real quick. And if you want to hang on, you'll be our very, very first caller. You want to hang on?
Yes, sir.
All right, sir. I'm going to put you back in the queue, but we'll come back to you first.
All righty. Thank you.
So anyway, guys, this is Andrew from Oliver Truck Center. And by the way, thank you very much. I appreciate you coming down. He's come down. You came down from Dallas, didn't you?
No, I'm here in San Antonio.
Oh, you're in San Antonio.
Yeah.
Yeah, Mark's going to be coming from Dallas.
I'm
That's right.
originally from Dallas, though.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, raised.
But still, you're taking your time, which we appreciate. It's pretty late in the evening to do a show, but this is when the working man gets home and has time to watch something like this. So
it works.
And so tell everybody what you do in the industry. What are you bringing here to the table tonight?
So I'm a semi-truck dealer. I sell mainly used semi-trucks, trucks and trailers. I've been a dealer most of my life. I've been in business now for about 10 years for myself. I've been selling trucks used for about 25 years now. And I sell all makes and models, Freightliner, Kenworth, Peterbilt, International, Volvo, you name it.
Hey, how'd you get in? Do you have a CDL?
I do not have a CDL.
You do not have
Nope.
a CDL. So how did you get into selling trucks? I mean, is this a family thing or?
It's not a family thing. I am 4th generation trucking. My great grandfather is a trucker, and my grandfather's a trucker, and down the line. And I decided not to get in the trucking itself. But I started selling trucks when I was younger, in my early 20s, and had a man kind of had a little bit of a rockier lifestyle, growing up and all that kind of stuff, and always looked up to dealers and everything. And I had a man kind of pull me off the streets and dust me off, and teach me the trade. And my best friend, his father owned a semi-truck dealership in South Dallas, and started working for him. He, brought me up and kind of showed me the game and everything. And so I started out for the first 5 years of my career as a wholesale dealer, worked for a company called U.S. Equipment Exports in Red Oak, Texas, South Dallas. And he showed me the wholesale game, and I started buying fleets of trucks for reasons of export into other countries, Mexico, South America, Africa, Asia.
Do you still
Russia.
do stuff like that, or is it all?
I do a little bit of export work. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I still export trucks here and there. We're in San Antonio, so we're close to the border. So we do a lot of export deals and buy a lot of equipment and used equipment for reasons of export. But so anyhow, I worked for them for about 5 years. And then my wife, her family at the time lived in a ranch down south, and I wanted to be a little bit closer to her family. And so we moved down to San Antonio and worked for Aero Truck Sales for about 10 years over there on I-10, just across the street from my dealership, and worked for Aero Truck Sales for 10 years as a retail truck salesman, selling one truck at a time to local fleets and owner operators. So I was the #1 salesman at that location for every year that I was there for all 10 years. And then the last 3 or 4 years that I was there, I was the #1 salesman in all the United States. So
Wow.
became the #1 salesman in all the United States for Aero Truck Sales. And actually, as the last couple years that I was there. And then had a lot of people kind of reach out to me and wanted to know if I wanted to start my own dealership and put their hands out to me and help me start my own place. And so opened up my own dealership, and now I've been in business for myself for about 10 years. Did really good at my dealership that I opened off of FM 1516 close to I-10 and made some good money pretty quick, and bought a mechanic shop called Pit Stop Diesel Service, and ran that mechanic shop and plugged the holes and figured out how to keep it profitable and let it make money and develop it into making good money. And then moved on to I-10, sold that mechanic shop, did real well on it, sold it for about 4 times what I paid for it within a matter of like 4 or 5 years of building it up. And then bought my location on I-10 and moved on to I-10, Truck Row, I guess you'd call it. Moved on to I-10 and then just kind of hit the ground running from there. You know, we probably sell more used trucks than anyone. Well, I'm pretty sure it's a fact. We sell more used trucks than anybody in San Antonio. I'm confident in saying that. And we just opened a Houston location about a year ago and have a really good.
Oh, you have more than one location?
Yeah, yeah,
Wow.
a Houston location as well, and we're opening Dallas next. So
Cool. Titus, can you readjust his mic where it's not blocking him from the viewers, and just see if you can readjust it, and then we'll go ahead and take this caller. What do you think? We already
Let's
kind
do
of
it, man.
left him on hold for a while, so hopefully he's still there. Let's see what happens here. Oh yeah, it's not touchscreen. Okay, you still there?
Yes, sir.
All right, thanks for holding on. What's your name?
My name is Daniel.
Okay, Daniel.
I'm from state of Georgia, and I joined in. I want to listen. I've been following guys on Facebook, and you guys doing an amazing job and teaching us about the trucking industry.
I appreciate that, man. Did you have any questions for Andrew or myself?
Oh no, I'm just listening and learning, sir.
All right, man. Sounds good. Do you own a truck yourself, or?
Yes, sir. I do. I've been driving for 60 years. I'm just 29 years old. I started when I was 22 years old. In 2018, got my CDL, and then I just started working my way up. And now last year I just got my own truck, and I actually got my truck through MSC Kenworth. And the reason why I got it through MSC Kenworth because they usually open in the weekends time, and they around every state. In case if I need a breakdown, I can stop by and get it repaired. So that was my approach of getting my first truck, and I got it from El Paso, Texas.
Right on.
Yes, sir.
So you operate out of Georgia?
Yes, sir. I operate out of Georgia, out of Savannah, Georgia, doing isotainers and tankers.
Yep.
Out of the port.
I
Port of
operated.
Savannah.
I operated 11 trucks out of Savannah for 18 months. Anyway, well,
Wow.
we appreciate your call, man, and good luck to you.
I appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Yep.
have a good
bye.
day.
All right. Bye-bye.
Can you just let the TikTok viewers know that they have to go to YouTube or Facebook to hear the call?
All right, guys. So the number to call in is, and there is some people waiting to hear, but the number to call in is 573-422-4225. If you're watching us on TikTok, you're not going to hear the caller side of the conversation. So if you go to YouTube or Facebook and catch this on there, you'll be able to hear the caller. So we'll go ahead and take another caller right now. You ready?
I'm ready. Let's
All
go.
right, let's go. What's it doing? And bear with us, guys. This is our first time. So,
There we go.
hello, you there?
Who is this?
You just called our show.
This was by mistake, my bad.
Okay.
Here we go. All right, guys. So Go ahead and call in if you have any questions about truck dealership information, anything that you might want to ask me, anything about warranties, anything about pricing, anything about trade-ins,
And
I'm here to-
you could also give insight on just the whole process of what a guy should look for when he's buying a new and used truck. Not necessarily, you know,
I'm all used, but yeah, I understand all that.
Well, yeah, I guess you're not looking for much on a new truck, right? So a used truck's really the only conversation to have. I mean, but you know,
Right.
we want to give the guys some of the insight on what they should look for when they're knocking over half the cameras in the studio.
A lot of media going on here, man. It's awesome.
You know,
We're
when
good.
they go to any other dealership, you know, some guy in Idaho would, you know, maybe
man, buy your trucks
give him
anywhere.
some
It doesn't matter
perspective, but
with me. I mean, you see that I'm doing a lot of stuff on social media now. It's helping my company, and I don't care where anybody buys a truck. It doesn't matter if it's from us or from other dealers in the United States. I'm trying to put information out there for people to learn how to protect themselves when they're buying and make sure that they're safe, and to keep from making a mistake and buying something that's going to really hurt them in the long run. So I try to teach people and put information out there so that they can check the engine before they buy the truck, or make sure that they have a mechanic check it out and everything. But I can explain a little bit of the process if you like.
well, let's see. Let's find out what the callers want.
Sure, let's do it. Man.
I think they're trying to iron out one more technical difficulty. Are we good here or what?
You're on with the caller should be.
I don't. So my son just keeps taking callers randomly. So is there a caller on the line? I think there is, right? Hello?
There we go. I think his phone's breaking up a little bit.
Yeah, your phone's messing up. You'll have to call us back, man. Okay. I think we got it figured out, guys. So
Stuff and key there.
go ahead and give us a call, 573-422-4225. And we should be able to take your call. We got a caller right here. Let's see how this goes this time. Hello, can you hear me?
Good afternoon.
There we
Hey.
go. How are you doing?
It's evening here now, I think, isn't it? But well, hi, what's your name?
Yeah, it's pretty late. It's Trevor.
Hey, Trevor,
Hey,
how you
Trevor,
doing,
how
man?
you doing, man?
Oh, not too bad. Do you guys work on any power techs, like Deere engines down south?
That's a question for you there, buddy.
Like John Deere engines?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. We haven't done any here in Texas, but we did 2 or 3 up in North Dakota. They were all in loaders, just to clarify. And we just gave a quote for a John Deere that was in a, it was in a loader as well. I just gave a quote for one last week. So they are something that we do. What do you got, what do you got going on?
12.5, quick, kick the liner out.
What does that even mean?
So just wondering, it kicked the rod out the side of the liner.
Oh, so you have a hole in the block?
Yeah.
Oh, those are those
So
are the best ones.
found a short block, but just looking to see what you guys do for a quote on doing a 12.5.
So if you're just looking for parts, I'll be honest with you. I've sourced all of the John Deeres I did. I sourced them through Highway and Heavy Parts, and they were always able to. I also have a Perkins on my sailboat, and I had a Perkins in one of my forklifts, and they got me all the parts for those too. So I think they kind of carry pretty much everything. You know, you just got to. It may not be on their website, but you know, if you give them a call, they can pretty much source you just about anything. So,
okay, what was the company again?
Highway and Heavy Parts. They're the guys that I'm doing our joint venture with to release our own parts line. So, but I've been buying from them for 14 years. They're the number one in the industry. But they, you know, a lot of people don't know they carry all that oddball stuff as well. And they have also sold me the parts for every industrial engine I've ever done as well. So, but you know, if you're looking to have somebody do the labor on it, I mean, obviously we'd be interested in that as well, but you'd have to hit us up after February, because we're basically ignoring all. You already know. So, all right, man. Did you have anything for Andrew? Or
all right, thank you.
Okay, you have a good one, man. Thanks for calling.
Yep, thank you.
All right, we'll just go to the next guy. Here we go. You're on with me and Andrew.
Hello.
Hello, Aaron. I talked to you once before. I don't know what kind of power you got to get towards my wife. But every time I talk to you, buddy, she's all ears. Listen to what you have to say because we value your opinion. We appreciate you.
Oh wow, I appreciate that, man. Is there anything we can help you with tonight?
problem. Yeah. So I talked to you before. I just want to this is more for listeners that you can adjust your brain and refresh my memory. So I got a Fitzgerald 12.7 that everybody hates. Massive blow by, so I need to get an Inframe done. So can you tell, I know what it costs, but can you tell the audience how much it costs for an Inframe? Your liners and
so for a 12.7?
Yes.
So the average 12.7 leaves our shop for about 13. Well, that's not true. An Inframe starts out at around 13,000 for that. The average one leaves our shop for between 15 and 16. Your average ISX leaves our shop between 17 and 19, but both your X15, your ISXs, your 22, 2350s, 870, 871s, they're going to cost the same as that 12.7, really. Your 12.7 will be a little bit cheaper on the head, so you're talking anywhere from $1,000 to $1,800 variants on pretty much every engine out there. It's going to start out right around 13,000, and guys do get out of my shop for that. Did that answer your question, or?
Yeah. So now, Mr. Oliver, from what Aaron just said, 13 to 18,000. If a guy had that much money, cash, do you think that I should rebuild this truck, or should I come and see you and take out money and put a down payment? But I have the title of this truck, so I'm trying to verify.
So what year is the truck itself?
It's a 17, but it's got $1 million on it.
So it's a 2017. So $1 million on the truck or $1 million on the engine?
$1 million on the truck.
So $1 million on the truck. That's a difficult one. But do you have $13,000 to $18,000 right now cash?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I think the question, Andrew, is you can correct me if I'm wrong, caller, but the question is are we going to add value by rebuilding it? If I put, let's say, 16,000 into this Detroit, is that the smart thing to do if I'm getting ready to sell my truck so I can maybe get another one or something like that? Or
and what kind of truck is it? Is it a 389 or a W900 or what kind of glider?
Freightliner Coronado. Freightliner Coronado.
A million-mile truck, you're still gonna, even if you rebuild the engine, you're still gonna get the price of what the miles on the truck are. The rebuild's not going to add very much value to the truck. Honestly, you're not going to get the 17 or 15 to 18, 13 to $18,000 out of it that you're expecting. It's really hard a lot of times that dealers just kind of look at the miles on the truck itself. And even though that you get a fresh rebuild on this engine, a lot of people in the dealership world think, how long does a rebuild last once you rebuild this engine? I mean, how many miles? Is he going to get another 300,000 miles?
No, on a 12.7, I mean, theoretically, he should be able to expect 1 million more miles.
Another million miles.
Another million miles. But the relationship between the shops, the dealers, and the end user, the owner operators is so broken that it's no wonder that none of it works like that.
Yeah, I'm sorry I have to ask a lot of questions. I mean, how is the truck operating as far as the truck itself? Are you having a lot of maintenance issues on everything around the engine? I mean, are you spending a lot of money on the truck? No?
The seals, transmission, the wheel seals are all got 1 million miles on. I shouldn't say it out loud, but it's all original, but I have nothing to it.
Yeah, I mean, if the truck is not, if the shell of the truck is not rough itself, and that you can get a lot more miles out of this truck, I would probably say go ahead and spend the money on the rebuild and keep running it. It just depends on your business model. If you like to finance equipment and get something a little bit newer and you can save money on the maintenance and everything, then it would behoove you to go ahead and use that money for the down payment on another truck. $13,000 to $18,000 down, that's a good amount for a down payment. You can probably, and I don't know which direction you want to go in, but 389s and W900s and long and talls are pretty expensive trucks. And so, let's say you find one for $80,000 and it has like 500,000 miles on it. You could buy something like that, and 20% down on that would be about $16,000. So you're in the mark to where you have cash to be able to buy a pretty good truck. And so you could probably get a Peterbilt 389 or something like that, 2018 or 2019 for, $70,000, $80,000. And you've got the money for the down payment. So it's just a personal preference and kind of deal.
How much is that truck worth as a trade-in?
His truck,
As is,
his truck is a trade-in, as is,
and
like I'm
not
telling you.
not the businessman Andrew. Like, you're not making a deal with this guy.
No,
right
I'm not
now.
trying to make a deal with him.
I
I'd
know,
rather
I'm just
protect
saying.
people. It's not to drive customers into my business. It's more just to educate customers and help them through the process.
I'm just messing.
But the trade-in value on that vehicle is going to be very, very low, just because of the 1,000,000 miles on the truck itself. And so I would probably say that you might be able to get $15,000 for that truck, rebuilt or not.
So
And that's the crappy part is if you're planning on running it, then spending the money on the rebuild is worth it because you're just planning on running it. But if you're trying to trade it in after you do the rebuild, it's not worth it because the dealer is not going to give you the value for your rebuild. They're going to give you the value for the miles on the truck itself.
Right. So something that kind of drives that home is if like there's a lot of, we used to offer financing here. We have a new financing thing getting set up that's actually going to be awesome and robust, but we have tried to do financing in the past, and our financing in the past was basically if it wasn't a Kenworth or a Peterbilt, they wouldn't finance you. Wow. It could only be like 8 years old or something like that. Yeah. Anything over 8 years old, they wouldn't finance, but unless it was a Peterbilt or a Kenworth, right? And I get phone call. The most common phone call I get throughout the week is people wanting to talk to me about doing a repower, and a lot of those people will have like, a Freightliner or something like that. And the first thing I tell them is, well, the first thing you have to do is sit down and see if you can get your value back out. If you put 60,000 into that truck, even after you get done putting 60,000 into it, the truck's only worth 40,000, no matter what.
Yeah,
you can, and I have owned several Freightliners.
You're in
right?
a tough position there. Yeah.
I had 3 Freightliner Classics, and they were always my biggest money makers. They were my bread and butter. They were just tougher than all get out. They all had 46,000 pound rears, and they were built trucks and heavy frame rail. They made me. They were the legs of my entire company when I was trucking, and so I can't say enough good things about them. But the truth of the matter is their value is. They don't hold their value. It's like a Peterbilt's like owning a Toyota. It's just the facts. That's right? True. And then your Kenworth's like owning a Subaru.
Yeah.
And then owning a Freightliner is like owning a Geo Metro.
Mm-hmm.
It's not worth anything, no matter how cool you make it.
Yeah, I mean, it just depends on. If I was a businessman in your shoes, I would probably sit back and look at this deal as if, I'm going to go ahead and use that money for a down payment for a truck that's going to be very reliable and very dependable. I'm going to keep this truck and park it. And then I'm going to run my new truck and make a good net and then save up money to rebuild that engine cash later. And now you have 2 trucks. I would probably do that because you can double your income later. And I would just park it, probably buy a new truck, run it, and then put a driver in the second truck once you have enough money saved up for your down payment. I think you can double your net that way.
I want to agree with him on one thing is that any owner operator that can get themselves in a position where they have 2 trucks, their odds of success are dramatically better. I don't agree with going the extra step and putting a driver in, but that's another conversation for another time. We're gonna go ahead and let you go because there's so many people.
I'm always trying to grow, man.
Okay.
And then
okay.
Yeah. All right, sir. Thank you. Thank you very much for the call.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. Have a good one.
You too.
So before we move on real quick, I want to give out the number one more time. It's 573-422-4225. Because there's so many people on hold, guys, I appreciate you waiting. We're going to try to get to every one of you. Yeah. We are going to just try and shorten up the amount of time that we talk to each one. That was 8 minutes long. We got to try and keep it 4 minutes, something like that. All right, guys, we're going to the next caller. Thank you for hanging on. Let's get right to you. Maybe.
We will see.
Hello.
Yes, can you guys hear me okay?
Oh, whoa. The other gentleman was so quiet I had to turn it way up, but yeah, go ahead and talk.
Yes, my name is Randy. Can you guys hear me okay?
Yes, sir.
We can hear you loud and clear.
Oh, okay. let me tell you my situation. I have a 1999 Kenworth T600. This is my first truck I ever bought back in 2002.
Wow.
Still ran it till last week when I walked out to my truck and it was leaning to the left. I said, well, this is different. I thought maybe it was an airbag. Took it to a shop to get it fixed. They called me up and said, hey, you got a problem. Your frame's cracked.
Hey.
It's located right there on the driver's side by the rear shackle.
Yep.
On the driver's side. Then they said the other side was getting so thin that they couldn't weld a piece of metal to it. I think I've been running this truck like this, so unsafe. And it's got a 12.7 Detroit in it. It's its third motor that it's had in it since I bought the truck. It's got a transmission, a brand new transmission in it. It's not even a year old yet. And it's got 2 new rear ends in it.
Okay,
So it's got a lot of good parts, but a broken frame.
oh,
Wow.
what's your question though?
What would you like to do?
But do we just replace both frame rails on it? Is that how you would handle that?
I'll tell you exactly how I'd handle it, and I know you guys don't want to keep hearing this, but long story short, it's a Freightliner.
It is.
It's
yeah.
not worth the amount of money that you're going to put into it to.
Oh, mine's a Kenworth.
Oh, yours a Kenworth.
T600,
Oh, yeah,
he's got a
T600.
T600.
Yeah,
Oh.
Kenworth T600.
Good looking anteater there.
Yeah, that's what we
Anteater.
call them too. That's
Yeah.
funny, anteaters. Yeah, you got the anteater.
Yes, that's what it is.
Yeah, sure. So, I mean, I guess again, even then, you know, even if it is a Kenworth, you know, it's not that much more special. You have to look at the cost benefit of it. You know, if it's sentimental, throw all the money at it you want, right?
Yeah.
But if we're, you know, those aren't the kind of answers we're trying to give out here. Really, you know, how much of a job is that? How much does it cost to do the new frame rails all the way down?
Dear
And
Lord,
then
that's-
once you get tearing
a
into
lot,
that,
man.
you're going to be replacing everything. All those bushings are going to be new, all those lines, all those cams. So if it was me, I would sit down, you know, at Kenworth or something, and I'd have a punch list made out and look at what the total cost of parts are and try and be super diligent about accounting for every single part. Your cross members and all that. Are you going to ruin them when you're trying to get them apart? How many of those are aluminum housings? Kenworths love to use aluminum housings
it's
all
very
over the place.
expensive. Yeah.
That could turn into an insane amount of money.
It's
So-
a great amount of money that's going to cost. I mean, I'm sure you.
Well, I know it's $12,500 per frame rail
Wow.
is
right.
what the cost is on that. Yeah, and I think I love the truck, and I got it all set up with a hydro pack and everything on it for the kind of work that I do, and it just breaks my heart to see it sitting there. Looks sad sitting there leaning to the left.
Well,
but I understand completely.
Over the years, I had 2 frame rails that cracked on me, and I was not willing to give those trucks up, and we sleeved them both times. I mean, if it
Just
was
double frame
me,
'em?
and yeah, right.
double
And
frame
if
it,
if it was me, the most affordable thing to do, and what I would do is I would find somebody to sleeve it and double frame it.
Yeah,
for-
Calvis Ranch down there on 35, he can sleeve it and double frame it pretty good.
Yeah, there's going to be guys.
Okay, now I live over in. Does your shop in Houston do anything like that?
Yeah, they actually do. We have a fab shop
Because
there.
that's where I live at, over in Houston.
Yeah, you can go by our dealership on East Freeway and go into the back, and we have a body shop there and a fab shop, and you can ask them if they would do that. I don't know off the top of my head if they're doing double frame job. Let's see, we just built a dump truck, double framed it, but I don't think we did the double frame in house in our shop there. But
he can certainly get it figured out.
if you want to jump on our social media and DM us somehow, I can get you a phone number to our shop there in Houston.
Yes, I will do that.
you can give it out. Why wouldn't you?
Yeah,
give it out?
What's that?
You don't know it by heart?
The phone number there? Yeah, you can call 346-250-5590 and ask to talk to somebody in the shop and just kind of go through that
Okay.
route. I don't know if they'll accept the job or not, but you could also use Calvis Ranch here in San Antonio, just south on I-35. He does a bunch of dump truck conversions, and I've built a bunch of dump trucks with him, and he's really cheap when it comes to double framing or shortening frames or adding, pusher axles, and he's a great fab shop, man. Abel at Calvis Ranch, he's amazing.
Here's a good rule of thumb.
Okey-dokey.
Here's what I tell, and I'm going to let you go, because we got to get to the next guy. But a good rule of thumb there is,
Yeah, absolutely.
it's always, you should always be looking at fixing what you have. It's always cheaper to fix what you have than to go buy
and
something
that's a
else.
sentimental truck.
Yes, it is.
man.
So,
That's a
all right,
sentimental
man.
truck.
Appreciate your call. Have a good one.
Hey, thank you guys. Thank
Yes,
you very
sir.
much.
Good
Yep,
meeting
bye.
you, sir.
So that one was 5 minutes. So we did shorten it up a little bit. We're going to try and shorten them up even a little bit more, guys. And so many people are still on hold. I appreciate it. The number is 573-422-4225. Again, I have Andrew with Oliver Truck Center here with me. You all know me, Aaron from Hack Nation. If you are watching this on TikTok and you want to hear the callers, you need to go over to Facebook and YouTube and watch it there. We do appreciate you watching from TikTok, though, as well, but you're just not going to get as good quality. Here we go. Taking the call. Hey, can you hear us?
Hello? Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Sounded good.
What's your name? What can we do for you?
Oh, my name is Julius. I was calling in. I got a question for Andrew and a question for you.
Okay. Great.
Question for Andrew is, in today's truck market, when I watched one of your videos the other day, and you were saying a starter truck, I think around 19 to 25,000, something like that.
Okay. Yeah.
How, being a dealer, how do you justify when you can, basically, how do you justify selling the, not justify, but how would, like, I don't know how to word the question, but when you can go out and get a starter truck, just say from Rishi Brothers, for, they usually run, you know, just say under 25 versus coming to you and buying a starter truck for just say 19 to 30.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
Look, man, I'm going to say something very controversial here, and a lot of people are going to get upset about it, but I would never buy a truck from an auction. I have never bought trucks from auctions. Semi-truck auctions are the place that trucks go to die. Every single dealership in the United States, whenever a customer comes in and goes through their front line and picks out a truck and finds out that the truck has a bad engine, what does that dealer do with that bad engine truck? He sends it to the auction. All of the people that are fleets that send trucks to auctions, they're sending their trucks that they just can't do anything else with because they have such bad problems that they cannot run them in their fleet any longer. They can't trade them into the dealer. They can't do anything with them. So what do? They send them to the auction. I highly suggest never buying a truck from an auction, and I can have everybody blast me
You're good. Hey,
for that.
You don't got to defend your claims,
I
man.
will
Just
never
say
buy a truck from an auction. There's not a single truck on my yard from an auction. I only buy my trucks from large fleets here in the United States. Like I say, I have a corporate buyer background. I worked for a company for, years, buying groups of trucks for, hundreds of trucks at a time. And I only buy trucks from large fleets here in the United States, because they take care of their trucks a lot better. And that's just the way that's the,
is that why you get
that is
so
the way
many
dealers do it. Used truck dealers buy from fleets that are out servicing their trucks at 300,000 miles because the warranties ran out. And then, if I buy 100 trucks and bring 25 to my yard and 25 to another yard or whatever, they're all fleet trucks. So those trucks that are cheap that I bought mainly for reasons of export, because, these guys that I can export these things to, they'll run in Mexico for another 1,000,000 miles, so everybody's saying, they're dead, they're done with their life. Well, why do they go to Mexico and run them for another 1,000,000, 2,000,000 miles if they're dead, But there's also buyers, There's also buyers in the United States that are very money savvy, and they understand trucks, they understand trucking, and they come in and they look at a $23,000 truck, $28,000 truck, and they're like, okay, I can buy this truck and I'm mechanically inclined and I can make this thing run for quite some time after this and still have a good bottom line. So, a first-time buyer, I think it'd be really good to get you something that's, 32 to 39,000. I don't know that those trucks that are 17,000, 21,000, 25,000 are really good for a first-time buyer necessarily, because it unless you're really mechanically inclined and you know how to inspect that truck, make sure that you get a truck that doesn't have any blow-by, doesn't need an engine, as long as you inspect it really good and you're mechanically inclined, then yeah, that's a good truck to buy. But if you don't have a lot of experience with mechanics and you've never ran trucks before and you're a first-time buyer, I would prefer seeing you buy a truck that's, 29,000 to 42,000. Okay. Something that's got, maybe 600,000 miles on it or something like that. But, I don't know if this helps you any, but, maybe a $35,000 truck, something like that. Something that's got a little bit less miles on it than some of those $25,000 trucks and stuff. So yeah, as a first time buyer, I think you need to be, $32,000, $42,000 somewhere in there, and get you something with a little bit less miles. And
Right.
if you haven't been working on trucks, a lot of times you don't want to get the cheapest truck on the yard, but you want to get more of the mid grade, something that's got good maintenance and that's not going to cost you a ton of money on the road. But some of those really, really low price point trucks, the $21,000 trucks, the $18,000 trucks, $24,000 trucks, I would rather sell that to an old school veteran that comes in and he's been trucking for a long time and he really knows what he's buying. But I think your sweet spot should probably be 32 to 42 grand, for a first time buyer.
Right. Which I just threw that question out there to you just to get it from a dealer perspective, which we got trucks. We done bought trucks. Actually, we just bought Yellow went out of business, and we bought 10 of their trucks.
They sure did go out of business, didn't they? That created a big shift in the marketplace. But if you've been doing this a long time, what you're doing, then you can get some of those cheaper trucks if you know what you're doing. Yeah.
So I just kind of threw that out there just to get a dealer's perspective from you, just for people who's listening for first time buyers.
Yeah, man. I would, if I was you, I'd buy from a dealer rather than an auction.
What was your other question there? I'm trying.
And my question for you is I see you rebuild a lot of cats and older Detroit. As far as the way the trucking is going, you're moving more towards the new DD13s, DD15, D13s. Do you rebuild any of those? I see the pack cars you rebuild, but as far as like the DD13s and DD15s and Volvo motors, do you rebuild those as well?
So we have about 4 or 5 DD15s running around on the market that we have rebuilt. We haven't done any in a while. We did some in the middle of the, we've been here for a year and 2 months, and we did a couple in the 6-month period. One of those ended up becoming a huge nightmare for us, but we managed to come out on the other side okay. But anyhow, but we still do them. We're doing the pack cars now. We're kind of open to pretty much any engine except for the Volvo engine. We're not messing with those currently. I mean, and for all I know, we will, if we need to. The problem is, man, is we really want to break into these other engines, but there's 63 trucks in my parking lot right now. But anyhow, we do gotta move on to the next guy. I'm trying to keep these under 5, and we already got you at 7 minutes. So was there anything else?
All right, yes, sir. Thank you, guys.
Hey,
all right,
no, that's
you,
it. Go ahead.
Appreciate it.
I appreciate it, man.
All right.
Okay. Again, I got to try and keep them a little shorter. One more time, guys, 573-422-4225.
Let's hear it. Come on.
That's and again, if you're watching on TikTok and you want to hear the audio from the callers, you got to be on Facebook and YouTube. Here we go. Next caller. You've been on hold for 18 minutes. I appreciate that. There's several people behind you. What can we do for you? Oh, maybe he's not there. Hello, you there?
There we go.
Oh,
could you hear us, sir?
You've been on hold for 18 minutes, so we're going to give you a chance. You there?
Can you hear me?
Oh, yeah, there we go. Go ahead.
Hello.
Yes,
Hello.
sir. What's your name? What can we do for you?
Yeah. Hey, this is Jason.
Hey, Jason.
And I'm curious to know, I'll make it quick. What is your guys' solution to the high idle in the Cummins X15 with the injector problems? Hello?
I'm not aware of any problem.
I personally don't have any issues with it.
Yeah, I'm not aware of.
Oh, they go into a high idle issue, and Cummins calls it a maintenance issue, but it's the 222 and newer. It seems that like they all do it in our area, Pacific Northwest.
I don't doubt you.
I know exactly what he's talking about.
Okay, but
Yes.
I've never experienced what you're talking about.
Yeah, a lot of people are trying to get away from those years. I guess 20. I thought it was 23, but correct me if I'm wrong, sir. You saying 22 and newer?
Yeah, 22, 23.
Yeah, I'm, mainly in my dealership, we're selling anything, 2016 to 2022 right now. I don't have a lot of I've been selling some 2023s. I'm not getting stuff that's leaving the yard and coming back on that issue yet. But I do know that a lot of dealers were buying around that issue and trying not to stock trucks that have that issue. But honestly, I haven't ran into it at all yet. On my side, no, I have heard of some fleets that were complaining about having that issue, and we're offing some of those trucks at 150,000 miles instead of 300,000 miles prematurely because of that issue. And I've just kind of been buying around that issue best I can.
Well, it does exist.
It does exist. Yeah, I have heard a little bit about it. What was your experience? What are you dealing with?
Well,
We'd like to
it
hear
just
from you.
goes into a high idle. You go to you just driving normally. You go shove the clutch in, and it's about 900 RPM, 800 to 900, right below the regen. How it idles up, but it never returns to the idle of 600. It'll stay at about 750, 800, 825, and it annoy the heck out of you.
Yeah, the engineers shouldn't have been messing with that engine and changing up the engineering with those injectors. I've heard, yeah.
So I broke in several 23s this last year, and I never experienced anything like that. But man, thanks for bringing it up, and thanks for calling.
Put that information out there for sure.
You bet. We like watching you.
Thank you, brother.
Bye.
Love it.
Okay. Here we go. Next caller. Try to rip through some here. How we doing, man? Are you there?
Yeah. Can you hear me?
Yeah. Go ahead.
We can hear you.
All right. So the company I'm working for, they are not afraid to spend money.
Nice.
We run all heavy haul. We only have 4 trucks, but it's a large company. They have where I'm in right now is our quote spare truck. It's sat for a year. It's got an unknown horsepower tune along with being.
We lost him.
Well, we lost you there. Oh, he dropped altogether. That poor guy.
Call back in, sir.
Yeah, call back in. I don't remember what that number was. We're going to the next call there. Hey, can you hear us?
Yes, Aaron, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Very good.
What's your name?
Aaron, my name's Rio Darrington. I am actually from Bristol, Virginia, and I've been watching you for quite a while. Thank you for taking my call.
Yes, sir. What can I do for you?
So I am going to first admit that I'm a little nervous. This is the first time I actually called into something like this, but I've been watching you guys for a long time. So I'm going to ask you, because I've been watching you from North Dakota coming down. Did you bring your beehive down?
So when COVID happened, I'll just give you a quick overview. When COVID happened, I parked all my trucks and leaned into the engine building business that we already had that was pretty thriving. But I didn't, trucking had took a pretty big hit before the whole COVID over the road trucking thing took off. And so I was just watching the signs and didn't like where I saw trucking heading and was worried about my engine shop's health, even though we were swamped in work. I didn't trust, I thought trucking was going to grind to a halt everywhere because oil was in the, negative and all that. So I sold half of my fleet of trucks and used all the money to purchase a semi-load plus of honeybee hives. And I ran those down to I ran those down to California and set on the almonds. And I made a little bit of money, but the mites killed all my bees and I lost all of my money.
Oh, I am very sorry to hear that.
No. Hang on. Let me tell the whole story. I'll try and keep it short still. But I don't give up. All I did was take a little breather, and then my sons and I got together, and I had all this equipment, and so we turned all the equipment into an opportunity. And we had all these bee yards that we went out and we put up that we would take other people's bees. So people started sending us their bees and we would use my equipment on their bees and we would extract their honey and give them 50%. And the last year that we were there, we took 10,000 colonies. We made 555 gallon drum barrels of honey, and a barrel of honey sells for $1,700. You do the math.
There you go, man. talking about
But,
resourceful.
That's freaking awesome.
but to answer your question, they at that point they were not my bees. So when we left, I had no overhead, no liability, no nothing. I just
Wash
I
my
was
hands
gone.
of it, I'm out.
I did bring 3 55-gallon drum barrels of honey with me, but I never want to run out in case I don't do bees again. I'm a 5th generation beekeeper.
Cool.
Most of my family all does bees. A couple of my brothers currently do bees, and so it's not an industry that I just jumped into blindly.
Okay, and I appreciate that info, and and I'm sorry that you lost all your bees to mites.
I'm not.
I've heard that was
I'm
quite
not.
a problem.
I'm not
But-
sorry at all. I appreciate the sentiment, but it opened a door for me to make a massive amount of cash.
Cool.
It was.
Well, and there you go,
Yeah.
and that leads into my next question, and I've been, like I said, I've been watching you guys for a long time, and I appreciate what you're. I was going to say trying, but what you're doing for our business, because I am an owner operator, and I've been dealing with, you can say, these shops that want to take from that owner operator, and where I've been driving for 22 years over the road, there's very untrustworthy shops out there. And me and a partner of mine, or I should say a buddy of mine, not a partner, a buddy of mine, we've already discussed it. When our truck breaks down, I don't care if we're from, like I said, from Virginia, we're towing our trucks down to you to have them rebuilt, whatever it takes.
Well, I appreciate that,
because
man.
what you're trying to do for this trucking industry. So I want to thank you for that.
Well, I appreciate the sentiments there.
The big question is, you're going to start this new, and forgive me because I don't know the correct words, but this new kit that you're going to introduce into the trucking industry to rebuild the engines and stuff like that. I'm currently running an N14 Cummins. I am having, as the infamous N14, the injector problems. I'm running currently. I've been trying the Cummins injectors. They have not been working out for me. I've gone through 9 of them.
Hey, so it's not.
What would you suggest? Oh,
so I'm kind of. Long story short, we've already passed the time of how long I want to have a caller go for. So, but I think I can answer all your questions really quick. Here, first of all, we don't have to find an injector maker because we've partnered with Highway and Heavy Parts and they already make injectors, right? So we're not, this isn't a rebrand. I've said that from the beginning. So if this was just a rebrand, I'd already have a product that I'd be selling to people. But instead, this was a joint venture with Highway and Heavy Parts. We're looking at all the best things in the industry and going with them. Like the thicker liner band or a raised liner. We're just looking at all these different things. And Highway and Heavy Parts is based. I took my dream to them, and they're funding it. And so they already wrote over $1 million PO. To have a production line ran off of our first kit, and that's going to be our blueprinted kit. Every rod, wrist pin, piston crown is all going to be numbered, but that is immediately going to be followed by a whole product line. So we'll fill out the Cat product line first, and it'll be immediately be followed by Cummins and Detroit and all of that, right? But long story short, you're not going to get away from the injector problem on the N14. And the reason is the N14 didn't come from the factory with injector problems. Okay. What people don't understand is your cats all have the same problem. The N14s were just the first ones to really suffer from it, but they all have this problem now. And that's because all of your old cats, Detroits, N14s and big cams and all that, the injectors that are currently on the market have been remanded so many times, 30, 40 times at this point, that at our shop, it is a policy to try to go back with the old injectors every time. Instead of talking customers into new injectors, we encourage them to put on new oil coolers, oil pumps, water pumps, dampeners, but we never suggest the injectors, because if I put 3 new ones in and leave 3 old ones out, and you get 100 miles down the road and call me and say one of those injectors is out, you could not give me to even bet $40 that it's the new one or the old one instead of one of the
you 100% correct.
Right.
Yep.
So
yeah, you are 100% correct.
Highway and Heavy Parts told me that we do like 120 injectors a month, and we talk most people out of them.
Yeah, that makes sense.
It's crazy how many we still do. But anyway, did that kind of answer both your questions there?
Yeah, it did. And so, because I know we went way over, when do you think you're going to come out with the Cummins side of your kit?
As fast as possible. But here's the thing, man. We were already supposed to release the kit. So people don't know this, but I hired the production team that made the Twister, the reality show Twister thing.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
I hired them. They came down and they've been along for this whole ride. We're going to release that on YouTube before we release the kits and show everybody how we came up with all this and the whole adventure. It's going to be like an hour-long production, kind of like a reality show, but it's really just them following us around. And so to kind of give you an example, we would have already dropped the kit. The PO's already been put out, and the production on the pistons and all that have already been done. But we had to source rods because nobody's ever done this before. And so basically we're kind of structuring this like you would with the military, where we put out a PO. And I've done a lot of contracts for the military, and that's kind of where the idea comes from, is you just put out a PO and see who wants to fill it. And then you do quality control and see if you can try and get the best of everything that you can get. And we had a whole shipment of rods come in, and we sent them through our testing, and they didn't meet the requirements. You'll see all that in our YouTube release that we're going to release, where we had to reject all these rods and go back to the drawing table, and we still are working on trying to source the proper rod for this kit that's coming out. So, if we were just rebranding stuff, it would be, I would tell you we'd have a Cummins product for you in a week, but it's going to probably be 4, 5, 6 months from now before Cummins or anything like that hits. Does that make sense?
And that's why, yep, it does. And that's why I don't care what it's going to take. I'm going to go with you guys because you just said it right there. You're honest with everything that you guys come out with. And like I said, I've been watching it from North Dakota. I'll keep this short and sweet. And you guys have done nothing but the best work. You've been honest from the get-go, even with this first live stream that you guys done. And I appreciate that. You're honest 100%. So, yeah, like I said, thank you, and I'll keep watching, and we'll wait for you to come out with the Cummins, and we'll go from there.
Yes, sir. Thank you. And all our product line is going to be geared toward the dealers. We will sell to people that are do-it-yourselfers, but we're really focusing on the dealers. We hope to have a whole database where if somebody calls, we can say, and hopefully we hope to get to the point where we can all work together on warranty stuff. If you have something done here and you're in Chicago, and we have a whole list of shops there, but we better move on, man. We got you at 10 minutes here. You've been our longest call, but we appreciate you. Thank you very much.
Yep. Thank you, Aaron.
Yep. And guys,
yeah, good day now.
You too. Bye. And guys, remember, we're going to do this every Wednesday. I'm going to try to do this every Wednesday.
There you go.
And we already have quite a few guests lined up. We're already 5 Wednesdays out on guests. So
Nick, going back to what he's talking about, as far as the end users and the owner operators not trusting these shops, I just ran through an instance last week where I had a truck leave our yard and had an engine problem, and I got an estimate from an OEM for $158,000 to replace that engine. The assumptive estimate, like who's going to pay that?
We get them all the time. We get them all the time.
$50,000 for out of frame. And
I had a quote here.
I don't trust shops. He sent me $157,000 estimate.
I had a quote here that for an N14 that had a $3,000 was the price for the N14 oil cooler. The oil cooler is $195, and they were charging them $3,000. That's the most ridiculous one I've ever seen. But anyway, you ready?
Yes, I'm ready.
All right, thanks, guys. This guy's been on hold for 30 minutes, man. It's starting to feel like my shop, where you have to wait way longer than we told you in the beginning. Sorry, guys.
Come on, buddy.
All right, here we go. Can you hear us?
Hey, Aaron. This is Jerick here.
Yes, sir.
Hello, Jerick.
Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. Go ahead.
Hey, so I'm just going to make it real quick. I have an 08 Pete. I think it's having some injector problems. It's got a C15. It's your favorite motor, the SS or SPD, I think it is. Some parts are missing. I think you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
How can I tell if it is an injector or if it's the ECM that's doing it?
Well, so here's the rule of thumb for all that kind of stuff, okay? If it's a mechanical problem, it doesn't come and go, right? So that's how you narrow it down. Am I dealing with an electrical problem or am I dealing with a mechanical problem? If it comes and goes, it's probably not mechanical. In fact, you can pretty much rule it out, right?
Yeah.
But on your
Okay.
C, on all these big diesel engines, they also have in your, on the engine we're talking about in particular, it's in the filter housing, but you have return check line valve and you have a supply line check valve, right? So those two things can cause you all kinds of havoc. It's usually where I start when I have like a problem I can't figure out, where you run an injector test or something like that, and you're not getting bad injector tests coming back to you or something like that. I usually tackle, even if it's like a Detroit or something, or an N14, we're going to go tackle that return line check valve because it just takes a little bit of junk in there and it holds it open just enough that it doesn't hold the pressure back against the injectors. Most of the time, though.
Yeah, because I've replaced the pump, the lines. I mean, I'm down to.
It's probably.
I guess I haven't checked the check valve like you said yet.
We always go after the check valve first because most of the time when you're chasing a massive fuel problem that magically came out of nowhere, especially if it's been recently been rebuilt or opened up for any reason, you always want to go after those check valves first. They're $45 or $80 depending on where you get them from. And you can change them yourself. If you're looking at the filter housing, you have your return line that goes back, comes from the back of the head. Directly underneath that is your return line check valve. It's just a 1-inch bolt. You take it out and put the new one in, and then the other one is right behind that. And that one goes in horizontally, and it's also a 1-inch bolt. They are different, though.
Then I had one more quick question. Would you guys put a 640 build, your 640 build in that truck?
I don't recommend guys do it to the SDP. We did one a little while ago. The guy was super pleased. But I got to watch what that cost him, and I have talked 3 people out of it since then. And that guy never complained. He loved it. He was so excited, and I appreciated his enthusiasm. But just being on the other side, having been on both sides of the fence, I know better. I tell guys, maybe not that one because there's too much that has to change. It's all your sensors. Your out-of-pocket cost is probably $6,000 or $7,000 more than if that thing said MXS on instead of SDP.
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
And the tuning's more expensive as well. So, but anyhow, you all good? I appreciate the call, man. Thank you.
Yeah, man. I like I said, I've been watching. I mean, just like everybody, we've all been watching it for a while. And we think you're doing great work, and just keep it up. And you guys have a good night.
You too, sir.
Yep. Thank you.
Yep. Bye-bye.
All right, here we go.
One is here.
Hey, can you hear us?
Hello? Yeah, can you hear me?
Hello,
Yes, sir. I appreciate you waiting on hold. You're on for 28 minutes. I appreciate that. What can we do for you? What's your name?
My name is Nick Peon. Listen, I got a 04 International 9900 IX. It's got the MBN cat.
Oh,
right?
Okay.
And,
that's pretty rare.
Yeah.
So I've got the truck set up now, and the motor set up like a 6NZ. Got a 6NZ file flashed in it.
Mm-hmm.
I got a bigger turbo, made a fold on it and everything.
So let me stop you there. Let me stop you there really quick. Do you have a 6NZ file or do you have a 7CZ C16 file?
It should be a 6NZ file, a 550 6NZ file.
Okay, perfect. Go ahead. Sorry.
No, you're fine. So I have currently a PDI manifold on it, and I have a Peterbilt turbo 78 with a 132 exhaust housing on it. And the truck has 630,000 miles on it. Motors had new main bearings rolled in it, and it's pushing 50 pounds of boost every time I get after it. And I haul trash, I haul wood chips and stuff. I'm always 100,000 plus with it. Is 50 pounds too much? And if so, should I upgrade it to a 145?
So the 145 is what I run on everything. It partially for what you got going on there, right? That's it, for all intents and purposes, is too much, right?
Right.
So I had a similar experience with one of my trucks. I was setting up to haul fuel in Alaska, and I kept pushing it and pushing it and pushing it, and it stretched all the head bolts across the back and blew the head gasket right out the back. And I hit 62 pounds of boost before it did it. But they can only take so much, right? And your 6NZ is not meant to have that high of compression, right? If that was an Acert, then it could ride that out all day long, right? But its compression, it's not set up. It's not set up for that. That's why when you just take an Acert and de-Acert it, so to speak, and throw a single turbo on it, or no, you don't want to just go 16-1 and just leave the twins on it. You know what I mean? They do make twins for that, but they're not those ones, right?
Yeah.
It makes the liners walk around and it cracks the heads out and all that kind of crap. But anyway, I kind of forgot what your original question was.
So it was just basically 50 pounds of boost.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, if it has I'm imagining the only way you're building 50 pounds of boost is if you have hot fuel numbers in there. So I'd be super suspicious that it's 550 stock, right? I'm gonna guess it's 550 with the fuel numbers turned way up.
Yeah, it's either that or it's a 550 brake saver tune, which whatever 600 horse or something.
Yeah, that's what I put on everybody's stuff. But do you roll black smoke?
Oh yeah, I mean it definitely does.
Then somebody has retarded your timing and laid a bunch of fuel to it. So you'll be looking for somebody like me to replace your head and reset your liners soon.
Yeah, so definitely should back it down then, or get a different file back.
I'd flash a 550 in it and quit making it work so hard and just go get something done, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, you got to, it's got to make, are you a single truck owner operator?
I am, yeah.
Then making money should be the priority.
That's right. Efficiency.
Yeah, that's what I wanted. When I first got the truck, I mean, it was set 475. It never got worked hard in its life. It hauled sawdust as a dump truck. They converted it to a dump truck. It hauled sawdust. It never had a big load on it. And then I got it. Go ahead.
All that working hard should mean for any engine is that it wears out faster. In other words, a Caterpillar engine, instead of being a 1 million to 1.3 million mile engine, it's a 600 to 700,000 mile engine. That should be the only difference that you see, is that the liners are completely wore out at 600 to 700,000. It shouldn't mean that you're having head problems. It shouldn't mean that you're walking liners and cracking shit out and stuff like that. That's the ride you're getting ready to take.
Yeah. All right. So I'm definitely. Do you have any recommend tuner to get a hold of to flash something in there?
Come on, man. Nobody shares their tuner. Get out of here. We use a company out of Canada because Canadians can do all that stuff without getting in trouble, and we don't do any we don't do any deleting here or anything like that. But they help us build all our tunes and all that, and like when we do PACCAR, we have day before and all that. We don't do anything shady here, but we would definitely fix your tune, but we don't do any remote tuning. A lot of people mail us their ECMs, but I don't know where to suggest to go, because everybody just sticks a damn pen drive in their laptop and flashes the same shit they flashed on the last 15 people, and they have no clue what that thing is. They don't know how to write them. They don't know how to blueprint that thing to your ECM. That's why going with PDI or something like that works really good, because they go back in and they just overlay with the original tune that should have been on that truck, and then they just retard the timing 4 degrees and then advance the timing a little bit, and then their box does that. We do the same thing. We just have the Canadians do it in computer, right? Because they will go pull your original file, and then they will write a file on top of your original file. They don't have some stupid thumb drive that they put on 975 people's different truck and didn't give 2 craps if it burned it to the ground and made $3,000 off every guy they did it to.
Yeah, because they're fly by night and they're leaving town anyway.
Yeah.
So.
All right. Well, Canadians go to school for it. The place we use has a storefront with 15 employees, right? That's the difference. Yeah. Everybody doing it here has to hide underneath their mama's porch and hack into the, you know what I mean? It's so, a lot of dealers use the place that I use to kind of put it into perspective.
Be careful out there.
Anyway, man, I hope we helped you out a little bit. We got to run to the next guy. Okay.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you guys. Have a good night.
Thank you. All right. Okay, one more time, guys. The number's 573-422-4225. I have Andrew from Oliver Truck Center here.
I am here.
We're gonna go till 9 o'clock. What time is it now, guys? Oh, 8. So we still have a whole another hour. I appreciate everybody that's been on hold. There is still a lot of people on hold, which is really cool. This gentleman's been on for 36 minutes. After this caller, I'm going to take a quick break, but one of us will stay here and keep going.
Yep.
And so here we go. And Titus, you can come just take over. It's okay. Can you hear us?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah,
yes, sir. What's your name?
Ethan.
Hey, Ethan. How you doing?
What can we do for you, buddy?
I'm good. How are you guys?
Doing well, man. We're doing well.
Okay, hit us with it, buddy.
So my question to you guys is, what are your thoughts on deleting the pre-cooler off Acer cats?
I'm assuming I'm taking this
That's
one.
yours, man.
Okay,
That's
so
yours.
I think it is the number one dumbest thing that truck drivers tell each other to do at truck stops and have no clue what that thing is designed for and what it does. If I had my way, they would be on every single truck ever made. The pre-cooler does nothing but help cool the EGTs, but the secondary job that it does by proxy is if you lose a turbo, grenade a turbo, and it tries to go through the system, it all gets caught in the pre-cooler. There's never been an Acer that got blown up because it lost a turbo. And you cannot say that for any single turbo engine on the market. All of them have suffered multiple times. Over the years, I had it happen 3 times on my own trucks. 3 different trucks. The turbo went through the air-to-air. Little pieces of the turbo fins went in between the valves and dropped a valve, slapped the liner slap, all that crap. And we've seen it in our shop numerous times over the years. It's impossible for it to happen to an Acer. Why would you get rid of that?
Yep, makes total sense. Another question I would have is, go ahead.
All the guys that try and say that you'll get better boost and stuff like that, you just remind them that whatever the single turbo turd that they're driving that gets 29 to 32 PSI on the turbo, the Acer can get 62 pounds stock.
Might as well leave it be. It's
right,
designed a certain way.
So
for a
you can't
reason.
tell me that pre-cooler is choking her down.
Yeah,
It's not how it works, right? So anyway, what else were you gonna say there?
What are your thoughts on running like a 5232 injector trim code?
You would think I would know all my injector trim codes by heart, but I'm almost positive the 5232 is a huge number that shouldn't be in anybody's truck. Because I'm able to rely so heavily on the Canadians, we do thousands and thousands of dollars a year in business with them. As the years go by, less and less I remember all that technical stuff because they do it all for me. I even have a sheet in my office that tells you every injector and every trim code for cats and every cat ever made and every camshaft and every cross camshaft. I have a whole cheat sheet in my office and I still don't remember because I just don't have to keep up on it. You know what I mean? But that trim code I believe is a monster trim code that does not belong in trucks.
Yeah.
And if you ever see a trim code that says freak, that's probably the worst one ever produced. Just stay away from that one. You'll be coming to see me in a weekend. But
all right.
So the problem with all that crap, my friend, is that you can't just drop trim codes in something because you can have one engine that is like, say, a 1LW, and that thing can come in like 5 different configurations, and it could have totally different camshaft. It could have totally different injectors and totally different piston crowns than a similar looking 1LW from the same year. And so if you're just dropping trim codes, random trim codes into crap, so that's why like we do exactly like PDI does. If you want us to do a horsepower tune for you, then we're going to build your CPL to whatever the biggest thing we possibly can is. And then we're going to lay a file on there that is that tune. So let's say on a Cummins, we'd go to a 605 and we'd put a 605 tune on it. And then we would retard your timing 3 or 4 degrees and add some fuel. And then we would put some numbers in there, but they're not just some random 3405 number, right? They're going to be numbers that that are put in there by the guys doing our tunes, where we're trying to get you the most fuel we can before you're not right up to where you're not burning on the exhaust stroke. That's what you're really looking for. And that's exactly how PDI does their tunes, that we sell. That's why I feel so comfortable selling their tuners. They used to do tunes back in the day, and it was kind of like everybody else, and they were blowing up everybody's trucks. But this new tuner that they have, I mean, it's even EPA compliant and all that. So
Yeah, I've heard about that.
if a guy just wanted to tune out of the box, that's really the way to go. We do custom tuning here. We always have. It's kind of been our niche. A lot of guys come here from all over the place. They just kind of know. We don't really advertise it, but you know how it is. Truck stop talk, man. People come from all over just to have us do tuning.
Yeah.
And it's a whole ordeal.
That's right.
But for everybody wondering, I don't just say we don't do deletes. We don't do deletes, right? We will work on trucks that are deleted, but you can't come here and have us delete a truck. We don't. I mean, everybody knows that you can't. There's just too much liability.
Yeah,
maybe Trump will change it
on the dealer side. Oh, yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Who knows?
What is he calling it?
Hey guys, I did not mean to cut you short, but I have to run here.
Okay, have a
No
good
problem.
night,
You have a
man.
good
Bye.
day.
Finally, somebody wanted just to get off.
A lot
Anyway,
of people in the queue.
you've been
here.
on queue for
40
you've been on
minutes.
hold for 40 minutes, man. Sorry it took us so long. What can we do for you? Still there?
Nah, this is Dean. It's all good, brother. It's all good. I got an 07 Western Star with a 14 liter in it. I've been trying to get a hold of you guys. Your 210786 number. Nobody ever answers that number. I got a 14 liter. What is your price on a 14 liter rebuild kit? Are you going to do the blueprint kit on them?
I think
For the
we're
14
gonna,
liter?
I think we're going to eventually offer it for everything. But I mean, we're I don't know if you're listening to the show earlier, but this isn't just a grab a bunch of products and rebrand them and try and shove them out the door. These are all products that are being developed.
No, I totally understand.
We are releasing CAT first. Highway and Heavy Parts wrote over $1 million PO. I watched them do it. It's a pretty exciting moment. We shook hands on our deal. They signed a PO, and that was just to run out X amount of kits made for cats. And we're going to drop those first because there's so much boxing and labeling and all this stuff that has to happen. We have to sort it out in the first run. They're trying to get something in my hands within 4 weeks, but that's all going to be followed by filling out that cat line. That makes sense. And as soon as that cat line is filled out, then we'll go to the next. We're hoping within 6 to 9 months we're supporting the entire industry.
Good stuff.
That's cool. Man.
It is tough, and what guys have to remember, since we're not just taking boxes and it all costs a crap ton of money. So instead of going to instead of going to like IPD or PDI or something and trying to do a branded deal with them, where we didn't have to come out with money out of pocket. Highway and Heavy Parts, we partnered with them because they're bankrolling the whole thing. They just believe in our vision, right?
That's awesome.
Probably within 6 months from now, they will have probably invested 20-30 million into us, into believing in our product. So
smart company.
It's a pretty amazing deal, man.
That's cool, man. I heard you offer a Canadian build for the 14 liter. What's that consist of?
So we do a special build for the 14 liter. We like to call it the Canadian build because we get one of the parts from Canada. That's why we call it that.
There you go. Stamp it.
Okay.
But it is a special build, and the Canadians also are the ones. So the way we came up with our all of our horsepower builds that we currently do, like our 640 and our Canadian build and our N14 build that we do, all of those, we went to the Canadians and asked them how we could build the most highest horsepower engine out of all these different models and still warranty them. And so we actually had a 3-way Zoom call with Highway and Heavy Parts, the company in Canada, and our company, and everybody sat down and came up with an agreement of how far we would push the horsepower threshold based on what the Canadians came back with us on the blueprint, what we would all comfortably warranty, and we came up with a number for all those. So we were able to offer a full warranty, on our 640 build and all that, because the Canadians, they're the ones that gave us a spec sheet. Here's what we're building it with. And so every one of them, we build them with the same pistons, the same turbo, same everything. They already know what we've done, and they just go in and they tune it, and it's good to go. So that's how we do all of our horsepower builds. They were pre-designed by the Canadians.
Okay, that's cool. My last question. Sorry to cut you off.
No,
I
you're
don't want to
good.
run too long here. The pricing on the motors. Do you have a website or something that we can go to that has a list pricing on some of this? Because I can't get a hold of you guys ever to try getting a price thing.
I don't. So it used to be easier to get a hold of me, but my social media and all of the ways that people can get a hold of me are so backed up and flooded now that I can't keep up anymore.
Yeah, I understand.
But we do give out our office number. So we try to have. There's three different girls that work here. One of them is my wife. Most of the calls go to them first, and their job is just to filter out if the person is just calling to ask me what kind of truck they should buy or something like that, right?
All that, yeah.
Because too many, I spend the entire day talking to people about what's the best transmission or this and that. And even though I enjoy those conversations, obviously at some point I have to cut it off. So we try to filter everything through our girls. I'll be more diligent about putting up our number when we make videos. We do need to be more diligent about that. I don't want to give it out right this minute because I can't remember, and I'll have to give out my personal number, and that's what we're trying to do is narrow
Get some of these questions online best we can on
all right,
show.
just try not to give out my personal number as much. So many people have it.
Tough to talk.
The only number I got was a 210-786-1570.
I don't know if that's it or not.
That was the office number they
My
said.
phone is up on the wall streaming for TikTokers, so I can't look in my phone.
No, I don't want your personal number. I just
does anybody
remember? Yeah, I just wanted to get up
anymore. It's all now that we have phones. I don't remember my mom's number. Come on now. Anyway.
Okay. Well, maybe somebody will post it in the chat on Facebook.
Yeah, send a DM.
All right, man. Well, thank you very much, and keep up the good work.
Yes, sir. And you're on Facebook. Why don't you go to the Facebook chat and post our number up?
Yeah.
Thanks, man. Have a good night.
All right. Thanks, bud.
Some of these here. Still got up to 32.
And we still got plenty of time, guys. We've still got 40 minutes here. How we doing? Can you hear us?
Hello.
Hello.
Hello, sir. Can you hear us?
Yeah. Well, we definitely bring in the truck drivers, right?
He's doing right now.
That's funny. Maybe his girlfriend's getting in the truck.
Yeah, maybe. Shoot.
That's terrible. Hey, you there? Okay, we're gonna have to move on.
There,
So
sir.
sorry, buddy. So sorry. You were on hold for 40.
Shop in Houston. It's 10111 East Freeway.
It dropped all the calls.
Oh,
It dropped all the calls.
Connection error. Yeah, but it's 10111 East Freeway, Houston, Texas.
All right, so
I think somebody got on here and was asking what our
queue
address
was full,
is in Houston, but
and what's this?
10111
Oh, that's
East
us.
Freeway.
No, I don't want to call anybody back.
Thank you for calling Call-In Studios hosting call screener line. Please enter your show or meeting number and press pound.
I don't know. I don't know.
Get it back up here in just a second.
Enter your 6-digit PIN number.
Okay, just hang on, guys.
Hang on 1 second, guys. Getting this thing back up.
There we go. Is it back up?
In the host room and can manage your callers from the Call-In Studio web interface.
Hello, can you hear me?
Hello. Hello, sir.
Yes, sir.
Hey.
How's it going?
We didn't lose you. Okay, everybody's still on here. That's great. What can we do for you, man?
Can you hear us? He said hello. I heard him. Here's all our calls back in key. Something with his call that didn't like your system there.
Yeah, I don't know. That guy keeps. Hey, it ruined it again. I can't get rid of that guy. So,
Thank you for calling Call-In Studios.
Sorry, guys. Technical difficulties.
Enter your 6-digit PIN number.
Okay.
Welcome, host. You are now in the host room and can manage your
All right,
callers
how are
from the
these people
Call-In
still
Studio web
on?
interface.
Hold. Here we go. Let's see.
Time. He's been on there for
See
40
how it
minutes.
works.
See how he does.
Hello?
Yep.
Yes,
Can you hear
sir.
me?
How you doing?
Hello.
Yes, sir. Go ahead.
Aaron, Joe from Ohio.
Ooh, Joe from Ohio.
How are you?
Good. What can we do for you?
Hey, been following you for a while. I have a question. The other day, I seen you at one of your local machine shops, and you had fresh resurfaced cat block,
Yes, sir.
and you had talked about the next step being cutting counter bores. And I was wondering why would you cut counter bores on a freshly resurfaced block?
So that block, even though it had been freshly resurfaced, it had been counterbored before, and that's why it had to be counterbored again because it was already set for 32,000 shims, but we shaved the top and we took 3,000ths off the top, so then we had to go back in and cut those counterboards again. Does that make sense?
Okay. Yeah, so you don't cut counterboards on every block that you come across.
No, but here's the thing. So if you do just run straight across on a block, you're going to come out at 5. So a lot of guys will cut them anyway to put them back up to 6, but I don't agree with doing that. The only time I cut counterbores on a freshly cut block is if we put uppers in. And the only reason for that is because, and this is just a personal preference, you can build on top of a cast upper, but that's the problem is that they're cast. So I shim those anyway because cast will tend to hip and valley. Where if you have that stainless shim on there, it has somewhere to ride on. So even though it does beat it out, the liner doesn't suffer for it, right? So I will cut on top of a insert, but not on top of a freshly decked block. That makes sense?
I see. Yeah. So what about a freshly cut block with going with like a 3,000 thinner spacer plate?
So a 3,000 thinner spacer plate isn't going to reflect at all on a freshly cut block, right? So, a 3,000 spacer plate is just giving you more height for where the liner sits, right? If you were going to freshly cut a block, then you certainly wouldn't want to be using a 3,000 spacer plate. And the 3,000 different spacer plate should be your last option always. That should be the last thing you should possibly go to. It is not a good fix.
Okay.
Cat doesn't even like selling them, right? That shouldn't be, it's kind of like with the Packars. Packard makes 3 different liner heights, so you can change the liner height instead of doing the shims. But we just always go in with the shims, right?
Okay. All right. One other thing I had for you, I have a 5EK that I lost a computer on. I mean, it smoked it 4 or 5 years ago, and I could not find the serial number on this motor anywhere. Any suggestions? I know Cat built this motor because the guy I bought it from, I knew personally, but he's no longer around. And I have no way of IDing this to get any history on that computer to get a new one reprogrammed to what it was.
The engine serial number is stamped in the block somewhere. I can't remember exactly where on that model, but you got to be careful with the 5EK because there's several different horsepower variants that it could come as, and the internals can be vastly different from 1 to 1 to 1. So, well,
what happened with this? The Cat built this motor for this guy, and they took a 350 and made a 500, built it to a 500. And it lasted a couple of weeks and blew up, so they built him one on the floor. And I ended up buying that motor from him a couple of years after that, and he kind of dropped out of sight. And after I lost the computer, there were no tags on it, so I had no way of going back and finding out what I needed, for a computer for this particular motor because I didn't have a serial number. And I thought maybe there was something that you knew of that I was missing as far as serial numbers go.
It's on that engine somewhere. But the problem is you've already said that they have rebuilt it to some unknown other horsepower rating, so it would be irrelevant anyway. If your ECM is smoked, call a place like Highway and Heavy Parts, get a new ECM, start over, and then you can find out what cam is in it and see if that's a 550 cam. And kind of go from there.
Okay.
Injectors and all that, but anyhow.
So that's pretty much what I'm gonna have to go internal and find out from off the cam number.
I would take the time to do it, or you're gonna end up right back where they were.
Okay.
All right, man. Have a good night.
Yeah,
We appreciate the call.
All righty. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Got 3 questions in there answered. That's good. Got quite a bit of people there in the line.
Yep. Yeah. Hello.
Hey, Aaron, I'm the one that we lost the call way earlier.
Oh, you're good. I'm glad we made it back to you. You were on hold for
you're on
42
for-
minutes, man.
yeah,
I
long
appreciate
time
everybody
there.
that's waiting on hold. Go ahead.
Back to what I was saying, this truck is a 2014 D800 wide hood. Like I said, we only do heavy haul. It sat for last year, and it's completely 100% non-compliant.
Okay.
They just go off based off of whatever the shop that did it there south of Dallas, what they did to it. The issue that I ran across, it might do it once a night, it might not do it for a week, and it might do it for 3 or 4 hours a night, but it will. I don't know what the horsepower tune is. It's obviously tuned pretty hot.
But, yeah, go ahead.
It doesn't smoke, okay, but it almost sounds, if this makes sense, the high horsepower tractors with tractor pulls, as they're increasing the RPM to build the boost pressure, how it kind of has I don't know what you call it, a lope or a little bit of a skip to it until it builds pressure. But it's doing that at an idle at 1,000 RPM.
Does it still have the VGT turbo?
But like I said, no.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I hate saying that, but I don't know.
Why is it loping? Is that the question?
Yeah, I mean,
gonna make
I
you
don't know
money?
why it's doing that to you.
Okay.
All right.
That's really all I had there, bud.
All right, man.
sir.
Sorry about that.
No, you're good.
Have a good night.
Sir. Some of them you just aren't
Yeah.
gonna be able to answer,
Well, I mean, that's the thing is,
Get my hands on it.
I'm not, I'm not doing this show to try and make people think I know everything. That's for
I
sure.
definitely don't know everything.
I just want to see how many people I can help, honestly. So here we go.
It's good.
Oh,
Can
you hear us?
You're supposed to be working during the day, not answering any of these
Right.
shop talk questions.
Hello.
People I can help, honestly. So here we go.
Hello. Yeah. You got to turn. You got to
you hear
turn
us?
us down in the background, man. We can hear ourselves.
Echo.
Oh, sorry about that. Can you hear me now?
Yeah,
sir, we can.
Yeah, we could hear
Go
you the
ahead.
whole time. But the problem is we can hear ourselves back there. I do love my melodious voice, but it doesn't make good radio.
You hear me back and forth. Echo.
Oh, I'm sorry about that. I have another phone playing to be able to call in at the same time.
No, you're good.
Just have an odd, quick question about it. My name's Tim. I have an odd, quick question about an 83 Kenworth W9.
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah. Wow.
Okay, so I bought the truck just recently here. I drove it 7 hours to my house from Delaware to Ohio.
Wow.
Got it home. It ran great the whole way there. And then it has the Cat 3460 in it. Drove it home. Great. No issue, no problem. Get it home. Ran great for 2-3 days. And then now all of a sudden developed blue smoke. And notice that there's a little bit of oil coming in between 4 and 5 cylinder, right down the side of the block, and then a little bit spitting out of the turbo,
back of the turbo,
right around the clamp.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, if I wipe it off, that's one.
It's not oil. It's not oil. First of all.
Okay, and so if I wipe it off, it will go away after the truck warms up.
Yep, because
has to do with
it's
the
diesel
shipping
fuel. It's diesel fuel. It's diesel
in
fuel.
between. Okay, so in between the cylinder and the spacer plate and that little thin gasket in between,
Oh no, that's probably not diesel fuel. No, I thought you said coming out of the exhaust manifold and coming out the back of the turbo.
Yeah. If you're sitting there, you first start it up when it's cold.
Okay,
You get blue smoke out of it.
that is unburnt diesel fuel and is not related to the pressure that is coming out of your spacer plate shim gasket. If you have oil coming down the side of your engine, that's completely unrelated. It is a normal problem for cats to have. It doesn't mean that you have a inherent problem with the engine. Engines that this shop build do not have that problem because we use shellac on it. We use aviation paste, and we have 0% that leak. But we are rare in that regard. So it is very common to have cats that leak all over the place, even if they're built a cat. So it's not a problem that you probably need to worry about unless you have actual if it's like blowing bubbles, then you have a problem. If you're just seeping oil, you don't have a problem. It's totally unrelated to the fuel problem. You need to keep your engine warmer. What else can we do for you, my friend?
Okay, no, that's all. It's great. I've put the question up on your website a few times. It's great what you do, Aaron and Oliver. It's great to you join him. And yes, no, I'll keep watching you guys. And then just have the little question. It's odd. I'm new to the B series cats. I do like the old mechanical cats. And this is the second one I've had. The first one was a flop. This one here is, like I said, I drove it and had this little bit of issue. Didn't know if I should dig into it more, or if the rings need to seated, or if I need to run it more. Account of the truck has sat probably a few years prior to me getting the truck.
So first of all, keep it warmer. Keep it warmer, and then measure your oil consumption over 10,000 miles, and then do it again. And if you're concerned, if it's using,
I'm not using no oil.
Okay, then you have nothing to worry about.
Good.
Nothing to worry about.
Okay, just run it then. It just needs to be heated, warmed up, and just needs to be ran. Put a load under it, and you're good to go.
For the love of God, go make some money.
Go make some money. Yeah, that's right. That's
what
we're
all
here
right,
Oh
for.
yeah. Well, yes, exactly. That's what I'm trying to do. So, but all right, thank you guys, Aaron. I put the question a couple times on the website. So, okay, I'm not an idiot. Awesome. Good deal, guys.
Have a good night.
Because nothing's mixed in, nothing else. I just you do the same, guys. Good hearing from you. All right, thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Bye.
Okay, I'm gonna run and go take a tinkle real quick.
Go ahead,
Titus is
man.
gonna take over. We're gonna go ahead and take another call.
We'll take over
Go
a little
ahead,
bit.
guys. All right, I'll be right back.
Yeah, go ahead, buddy.
And you must think that I am way skinnier than I am.
I can't scoot up very well. How you doing, guys? Hope everybody's okay. Got another caller in here. Hopefully we'll get some dealer calls, but I'm not going to be equipped to answer all your technical support and your shop talk and everything like he is. Of course, he's an engine builder. I'm a semi-truck dealer. But do you want to go ahead and hit talk there?
I think he already took a talk, actually, or a caller, actually.
You there, sir?
Me?
Yes, sir. You there?
Oh, yeah, I'm here.
Okay. Do you have a question about engine work and all that, or do you have a dealership question?
It's kind of, I guess, both. I don't know. Are you running like the financing section of it?
Not the financing side on the I'm not working in the financing side of the engine repairs and stuff like that, but I do financing for semi trucks.
Oh, okay. So basically, I guess it'd be more for Aaron. The question I have.
That's not a problem. We can wait for Aaron. We can wait for Aaron to get back because I probably can't support your call just as well as him, but he'll be right back here in just a second. But what kind of truck are you running, sir?
So I've got a 2020 389P.
Nice.
I had commented on one of his videos the other day about getting one of his motors that he's coming out with.
Yeah.
And getting all color matched and everything, and wanting to know kind of like a price wise of doing a swap, because right now I got a 565 Cummins.
Wow.
But it's going to be on its last leg pretty soon. I'm sure, because I've already got 760,000 miles on it.
Yeah, that makes sense. You're right about that point.
Yeah, so I mean, I'm already on borrowed time on it. So
yeah, are you debating whether you're going to rebuild it or if you want to do an engine swap? Is that right?
So basically, yes. I've got a warranty on the motor. Well, pretty much the whole truck. I bought an aftermarket warranty of Premier 2000.
Oh yeah. Premium 2000.
And
yeah.
it's warrantied out to 924,000 miles.
Oh wow, man, you're doing
So
pretty good.
basically, yeah, it cost me 12,600, I think. But it's the motor, the DEF system, drives, transmission, turbo,
Does it
pretty
cover,
much everything that you need covered.
do you know if it covers wear out or is it just major malfunction?
That I don't know.
Yeah.
So I'm not exactly sure what they are going to cover when the motor does go.
What?
They give me a parts list and everything on it.
Yeah, a little parts
But
checklist there.
it doesn't. Yeah, so I don't know what they're going to cover when it actually goes.
Right.
But
what
basically, I want them to go ahead.
What I would do is call Premium 2000 real quick. You don't have a breakdown right now, and you're not seized up or anything, or are you just trying to be proactive?
I'm driving through. Yeah, I'm driving through Mobile, Alabama right now, headed to Georgia. But
yeah,
basically, I just want to figure out what my question was for Aaron was.
Yeah.
If I get this motor, if it finally goes and then gets rebuilt, is that something that you guys would take on trade, a rebuilt motor
Would
with
we take
minimal miles?
Would we take in on trade a rebuilt motor? Yes, we would. And as long as you have paperwork on that engine and the rebuild, then we would take it in on trade and give you a good trade value that's going to reflect that rebuild. The reason that you're in such a good position is the year, make, and model of the truck. That's a very highly sought after truck. And first thing I would do is I'd call Premium 2000, your warranty company, and talk to them a little bit proactively ahead of time before you do have a major seizure or a breakdown or anything like that, and just start picking their brain and asking them their procedures, exactly what it is that you're going to need to do if you have any problems, if the problems come up, and they can kind of let you know what they do cover and what they don't cover. But if I was you, I would get on the phone with them just as quick as possible before you do have a breakdown, so that you can know what your rights are as far as being the warranty owner, and what it is they will cover and what they won't cover. And you also need to see if that was a pretty expensive warranty. So I'm going to have to guess that it covers wear out and not just a major catastrophe, or internal breakdown. So you're sitting pretty good, man, with that warranty and that year, make, and model on that truck. And if you do have it rebuilt, you will get full value You'll probably get half value on the rebuild itself, but you'll get full value on your truck. So you're sitting in a really good position having that warranty with Premium 2000. I mean, you got a high-end warranty. And me personally, I would probably go down that route of trying to see if you can rebuild it, instead of doing a swap, because the swap's going to cost you quite a bit of money, and the rebuild covered under warranty is not going to cost you much at all, So, but the first thing I would do is I would call
basically
Premium 2000. Go ahead. Aaron.
Well, basically what I was wanting to do is get the motor rebuilt from the warranty.
Yes.
And then swap the motors with you guys and do the cat swap. Because I want to eliminate the whole DEF system too. The DEF system is what's giving me the most problem.
So for the first problem there is it's not legal.
Well, that part of the question, yeah, but stay away from that.
I mean, that's the simple answer. It's not legal. We have had customers of ours jump through crazy hoops and get glider numbers and re-register them and do all these things. And you see that we probably do repowers 10, 15 times a year, but we don't do anything illegal, so to speak, right? So basically you have a bunch of hurdles to overcome first, and they're almost insurmountable, right? And they're hurdles we're not willing to help you with, so to speak. So in other words, if you can't hand us a glider number that we can give to custom truck or something like that, no one will work with us. And so we can't even do the swap for you. So any of the swaps you see, that's why we put them on TikTok and stuff like that, is because the owner's already ironed it out. However he ironed it out, or he brought us a glider. A lot of them are already gliders or whatever it might be. That makes sense?
Yeah.
But there are ways, the truck stop talk, there are ways to figure it out. But anyway, man,
that direction with them.
All right. That's about all we can help you with that one. Does that make sense? All right, sir. Thank you.
Call that warranty company and protect yourself, man.
Make sure
you get as much information as you can.
All right. Bye.
Yep.
Thank you.
And before I take the next call, if it looks like I'm dying over here, I am. I had a surgery. I came out of surgery 1 hour before this show started, hour and 30 minutes before the show started.
It's tough.
And all of the numbings and drugs and whatever they gave me are officially gone, worn off, and I am in a lot of pain. So
hurting a little bit there. Yeah.
Anyway, we have 15 minutes left here, and we still have 4 callers. Let's see if we can get through all of them. Okay, guys. So if I might try to steer you to try to cut it short. Let's try to take them all. Here we go. You still there?
Yeah. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. Go ahead.
Yeah. Yeah, this is probably a question for both of y'all. I've been a company driver for 30 years, and I've been wanting to buy my own truck. And, I've been doing a lot of research over the year and everything. My question is for both of y'all. So many people say, man, stay away from the DEF system. Get a glider kit truck, get a 98, get a 99, and my question is it the best to stay away from the EGR systems, the DEF systems and stuff like that? Would I be better invested into a glider truck like that and having it, looked at real good and everything, making all kind of repairs or what? Or should I buy something that's already got DEF on it, And
well, it's kind of like a pick your poison kind of a deal. It's a pick your poison kind of a deal. Which one do you want to deal with? But there's nothing wrong with going ahead and buying newer trucks with this emission standards on them and all the emissions controls and everything. You're gonna have to get to those times at some point anyways. You might as well do it now and get familiar with it. The thing that I'm scared for you is in protecting you is that if you go and buy an older truck and everything around this truck, starts falling apart, and the amount of money that you're spending on maintenance is probably going to either equal or be more than the amount of money that you're spending on after treatment systems.
So
right.
I mean,
and then my other question is too. Yeah.
I'll just give you some personal.
I'm sorry to interrupt you.
No, you're good. You're good. I just want to lead off where he left off. I'm just going to give you personal experience, right?
Yeah,
personal experiences. I only bought older trucks. The newest truck I ever owned was an 07, right? And I bought older trucks, but I also, my brother-in-law is my number one mechanic, hands down. He's been with me 25 years, right? I've always had all these good mechanics around me. They've followed me from state to state. They've always been there for me. Even when I had grown to a substantially large trucking company, it was all the same guys.
So you were equipped.
Right, I was equipped. So I would go, and I have never bought a truck on credit ever in my life. Yeah. So I had a huge advantage there.
Right.
I bought my first truck for $9,000 and I made it work. Right, and every truck I bought after that, anyway, long story short, I had never went into debt. I've never had a credit card, nothing like that. So I would buy old trucks and then I'd bring them in the shop and I'd dump 15 grand into them before we even took them out. And it wasn't into the engine.
To do that, do it.
Right. I would do I didn't care what it looked like. I already had it all ordered: shocks, airbags, all the torsion arms, all the bushings, kingpins. We just would all the brakes, S cams. I would go through it front to back, all new airlines.
And not everybody can do that.
Right. Not everybody can do that. Andrew's right. What's going to end up happening is you're going to get ate alive, right? So you got to pay attention to what you're buying and all that. But I want to go to the engine side really quick, and we're going to let you go because we got to get to the next guy. We're going to try and get everybody. But on the engine side, man, here's what I have seen. Okay. Now, for me personally, I would probably rather have a truck that was deleted. I'm not going to sit here and say I would delete my own trucks, right? But I would probably rather have a deleted one. But what I have seen, and this is the truth, that the guys that do not delete their trucks, their engines last substantially longer.
They sure do.
Astronomically longer before they have to go into and rebuild them. And when Andrew said pick your poison, people don't understand how much that really is. Okay, you can not deal with all that emissions bull crap. You cannot have all these little breakdowns and spend thousands of dollars on it. We all know what happens. I know why guys delete them. I'm not dumb, right? Yeah. But the truth is that the engine will go substantially longer. We see Cummins all the time with 1.3 on them, all the damn time. But they all have something in common. Without exception, they're not deleted. Yeah. So I don't care how many guys at the truck stop.
Right. I see your series on TikTok when you talk about that.
Right.
If you're not set up as a shop and you're not.
And then I know one more question, real quick. Now, for me to come in and buy a used truck,
you're better
for me to come and buy a used truck, there's got 300.
That's the bottom line. You're better off getting if you can
Right,
if your
but-
credit allows for it. You're better off getting a truck
And
in
just
better
take
shape.
care of that emissions
Oh, yeah.
system. I mean,
Yeah, my credit allows for it, man, and I wanted to come talk to Oliver next month.
That'd
But
be great.
the
Come see
problem
me.
is, if I buy a truck that's got 350,000 miles on it,
Yeah.
I mean, what all should I be looking at on that motor there to make sure that that motor, you know, it's still got another 300,000 miles left on it before you got to do an Inframe or something like
Well,
that.
why don't you hire you a
know,
mechanic?
that's my biggest fear.
Hire
is-
Yes, sir. I
Right.
mean, if you're proficient and checking out engines yourself, then check it out yourself, and you feel confident that you know what you're doing. Go ahead and do that, but always inspect before you buy. I mean, I tell everybody that.
Don't buy sight
It's an
unseen.
industry
ever.
it's an industry standard that you have.
Right,
to,
right,
that
right.
Dealers do not like selling trucks to people that do not inspect their engines before they buy them. I just don't like it. It's a liability on my side,
Correct.
and then they come back and they're upset and this, that, and the other about whatever. But hire you a mobile mechanic or hire you a shop down the road to come and look at the truck that's a third party that's not in the pocket of the dealer, and have that third party mechanic come out and check it out. And if he's more high end than you as far as his knowledge, then he'll let you know what it is that you need to know about that engine. And if he says, hey man, I think this thing has a good chance of lasting another this many miles, and somebody took care of this engine and I can tell it's been taken care of, then go ahead and buy the truck. But hey,
I'll leave you with one last. We ended up turning this into a whole last phone call, but I'll leave you with one last word of advice, okay? Or just one last tidbit of knowledge that can help maybe factor into your anybody's decision making. Is you have to look what it costs to overhaul that engine. The average cost of an X15, the newest engine that Cummins makes, it gets out of our shop for right around $17,000. That is the average cost, and most of the time, you have about an 80% chance of it not going over that.
Yeah.
And when it does go over that, it's around 19, right?
Right.
So all in your rebuild kit for your DD15 is already almost that much, right? So.
Yeah.
So you kind of have to look at it from that perspective. Your DD15 is going to get way more mileage than your X15. That X15 can go at 300. The common areas that we rebuild X15s is between 300 and 600,000.
Yeah, I've been hearing that too.
The 22 and 2350s before them, we were rebuilding those somewhere between 500 and 700,000. I mean, but I'd still rather have one.
Great engines, yeah.
Right. Because they're cheap to rebuild. Even the brand new ones are cheap to rebuild.
Yeah, and get yourself a warranty. And these warranties nowadays cover after treatment systems, So if you're scared to buy a truck with an after treatment system, just make sure you get the warranty and check that after treatment system out before you buy the truck too, with that mechanic. So but
okay.
Yeah, on my end.
Well, I'll be calling you next month there, Oliver.
Yes, sir. Give me a call. And I'll
hopefully not calling me right afterwards.
We'll
Anyway,
help you out, brother. I'll be very honest with you. Honesty's the best policy.
I hope not.
All right. Have a good one, man. Thanks for the call.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. Thank y'all. Thank y'all both. I appreciate it.
Have a good day, sir.
So sorry for everybody that's on hold. We're trying to rip through them, but we can go a little past 9 too. It won't kill anything, right? We just won't take any more calls. There's 3 guys on hold, and however long it takes us to get to all 3 of you, we'll get to all 3 of you. Just hang on.
Yep.
Here we go. Can you hear us? Hello. Yes, sir. Go ahead.
Excuse me.
Hey, just a quick question. I'm a little small shop over here in the Panhandle.
Oh, cool.
And the question I was wondering, does anybody offer like a PACCAR software for PACCAR engine?
Yeah.
I get a lot of work from PACCAR, but
yeah, you need to go. They're replacing new Bronzefulls. Yeah, there's you can call PACCAR, you can call the Peterbilt or PACCAR plant in Denton, Texas, and ask them for a referral. But there's a little university type of a place in New Braunfels that you can send your mechanics to, and they can give you Davies software training, and you can send them there and have them PACCAR certified. I don't know if you can really use that word certified because but anyways, PACCAR trained on the Davies software, and all of us are trying to get up to date. I have 2 mechanics in my shop that we sent to this Davies training, and you can have them tuned up how to use that software. So yes. If you go to Oliver Truck Center's social media pages, you can DM me and I'll send you their phone number so that you can get your guys up and running on PACCAR software, Davies software.
I'm not trying to give you a hard time. My balls hurt so bad, man, from my surgery. Holy cow, I'm dying over here. Anyway, man,
my balls.
yeah, appreciate your question, man. You have a good night, okay?
Oh, shoot. We're doing podcasts with balls. right, 2 more callers here. Is that 3?
Hello.
Hello.
Hello. Uh-oh.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
We can hear you.
What can we do for you, man?
Are you still there?
Yeah. What can we do for you, man?
Okay, I've got a 94 Freightliner FLD with the 12.7 Detroit, which it is a D-Deck 3 motor with actually a 93 model motor and a 94 truck.
Nice.
And it is starting to get a lot of blow by. Is it better? And another thing, I've got a D-Deck 4 motor sitting in my shop, but it needs to be rebuilt as well.
Yeah.
Would it be better to rebuild the D-Deck 4 and swap it out for the D-Deck 2, or to rebuild the D-Deck 2? Which motor is more reliable, I guess?
The D-Deck 4, hands down, is an astronomically better engine. You can pretty much, it pretty much goes like this. As they go up in D-Decks, the better the engine is. Okay. They made them more robust, and they kept adding horsepower, and they kept improving them until they got. And I'm a big fan of the 14 liter as well, right? Your D-Deck 5s and whatnot. But long story short, the problem you're going to run into there is, I believe, your ECMs are quite a bit different from your 2 to your 4. But if you're going forward, that's the nice thing about going forward, right? You can go forward and get all kinds of logistical support. So if you called Custom Truck or something like that, they would support you on that, because that is completely legal to do. You can go forward all you want. So you could get that jumper harness. Probably what you're going to have is an external processor. They're pretty expensive, but it can be done. So you'd probably be into that project. Custom Truck wise, I'm guessing here, somewhere between 3,000 and 6,000. Okay. And then you could probably make that swap work. Your motor mounts and all that are going to work. Everything's going to drop in just like you want it to. You shouldn't have too much problem there, but then you're going to run into a whole nother problem. Once you get all that hooked up, now you got to find somebody that can do the programming, right? And make sure that the programming.
That's what I was afraid of.
A good legit guy.
It's not the programming on the ECM side that's the problem. It's the truck side, right? Like
the cruise and the
right. So we use the Canadians for all that, of course. They do all our truck side programming for us. But anyway, that's what you're going to run into. I would highly recommend. It's going to cost you the same amount of money to do either one, more or less, right? So I would most
because they both got to be rebuilt. So
right. So if I was picking one, it wouldn't even be a question, right?
I agree.
It would be the D.
Well, that's kind of what I was thinking, but I just wanted to.
It might cost you nothing to convert it. I do stuff like this all the time, but my memory bank doesn't hold that much information, right?
Yeah, and that
so
FLD is a good
so
truck.
like let's say you called me and asked me if I could do this job for you. What I would do is, get all your information, and then I would immediately call Custom Truck or whatever, and I get super awesome pricing. You know what I mean? But they would tell me, what I would need to do. And if I didn't need to do anything, they would say, no, you don't need us for anything. It's not like they sell you stuff that you're not going to use, right? So that's where you start. You start there, talk to them, they'll point you in the right direction. And then you just go from there. And once you've talked to them, you can kind of sit down and figure out what this is actually going to cost you. You know what I mean? And don't forget, that's a big job. Pulling an engine and pulling an engine out and putting an engine, it's a big job, man. So you have to add up your hours.
I've pulled them out before. But
well,
as far as pulling it and setting it in and all that, I can do that. I just think I ain't got the knowledge for the rebuild or nothing like that. So
well, apparently I'm not that good at pulling them out. That's why I had to have a surgery today. Anyway, you go ahead and have yourself a good night. We appreciate the call.
Thank you very much.
We're going to take this last caller. Okay.
You do appreciate it.
Yep. Have a good night.
All right. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Yep. And again, it's trying to do that thing to me again, or it won't let me drop the call. Are you still there? No, he's gone.
Yes.
Oh, okay. Can you hang up? Because for some reason it won't let me drop the call. We're having a technical error again. All right. Thank you, man.
Sure will. See y'all.
Have a good day.
Yep.
Yes, sir.
See if maybe that will get rid of him, and we'll take this last caller again, guys. Thank you. The number again was 573. It's going to be the same number every time, right? So for next week, guys, it'll be 573-422-4225.
Who are you gonna have next week?
We're gonna have Mark from
Big Shop?
Big Shop come down, and then after that, I
Great
think,
guy.
yeah, he's an awesome guy.
Yeah.
He sells
He's a
performance parts, and he builds engines as well. I do a lot of business with Mark. Mark and I are becoming pretty good friends. I can't wait to. I've never met him face to face. Him and I have spent hours.
I've known him for many years.
Yeah, I did know that.
Yeah,
He told me that.
Yeah,
I
we
didn't
did
know
some
that
business
before.
together,
When
and-
I invited you on the show, I didn't
Yeah.
know that you were friends with him. He
Yeah,
told me when I asked him
the
if
story,
he'd come on.
The story is I was partners with Tuttle and Tuttle, and Tuttle and Tuttle sold him the shop there, and I was in that shop before him, and then we shared that location together for
Oh, wow,
a
okay.
good amount of time.
So you guys were real close.
And yeah, I had an account in there, and he was working on a lot of our trucks, and yeah, amazing guy. Glad you're having him on.
Okay, let's take this last call. Are you still there?
Yes, sir.
Man, you are you're the
How y'all doing,
you're the champion. You hung on for 35 minutes. We
Yeah.
appreciate you. You're the last caller. What can we do for you? What was your name?
My name's Adam. I'm down in Georgia. You do good things. I've been keeping up with you, and I've had a question burning in me. I'm a cat guy through and through. I ended up with a 2015 Kenworth T800 Canadian Spec Tri-Drive.
Nice.
And of course, it's got the ISX 15 in it. I want to get over into a cat if possible, or at least build this ISX to where it's somewhat reliable. We're usually grossing 150 to 170,000 pounds on the daily.
What year is it? What year is the engine?
2015.
So that is
2015.
Which engine is that? That's the 22 or 2350?
2350.
Okay, so the 2350. What horsepower rating is it right now?
It was factory set at 550, but it's went on a weight loss program and got a 600 file in it.
Okay. When it went on its weight loss program, did it get a bunch of different internals? It was what horsepower did you say it came factory as again?
550.
Well, okay, so a 550 can be a 605 without changing anything. See, the problem that happens here though is what I talked about in the beginning of the show is you just have some jackhole who has a thumb drive that he's putting on everybody's truck, right? So,
Watch out for that. And I think that's what I'm up against now. I think I have just a bland, let me throw this in here, get my payday, and go on down the road top file, because I had a 6 1/4 cat with nothing on it, and it would jerk this thing.
Well, I promise you he didn't go to school for
I
tuning
guarantee.
trucks, right? So we have the privilege of working.
It was done before I acquired the truck.
We have the privilege of working with a whole team that's all they do, right? And they went to school for it. So it's a whole different. We see it from a whole different perspective, but we know how 99% of the tuning is done in the United States, and it is the number one contribution to the destruction that happens in the industry. I'm going to assume in advance when you got your weight loss program that you're probably going to be searching for somebody because your head's going to be cracked and liners dropped and all the normal crap that comes along with that. All right. I don't know where to suggest.
We're at 395,000 miles on it right now. So I know we're getting close to having something go on.
Which is unreasonable, by the way. A million miles is how much an engine should get, right? Let's establish that first. but anyway,
it should, yes.
So
2350 really don't have a good background of it.
Well, the 2350 is pretty affordable to rebuild unless it catastrophically fails. And so here, we have contingency plans for that here at this shop. What we'll do is we'll get turning cores and we'll start with a turning core instead. And it actually ends up saving about $25,000 every time we do it. It's the only affordable way to fix the 22 and 2350s and the X15s if they catastrophically fail. But most of the time, they don't catastrophically fail. And we rebuild more Cummins engines here than any other engines by far. And most of them get out of here between 17 and 19. And that's counterboard, new head, completely overhauled, all that, right? But I already know in advance we wouldn't warranty your truck with whatever tune you have on it, right? To kind of put it into perspective.
Yeah.
We would just
if we went to do anything, it would have to be changed.
Yeah.
I want to know where the tune comes from. I want to know where the engine build comes from. That was kind of my question this morning. Can we go to your 640 cat build, or do we have to stay with a Cummins?
Because you're too far away in years, man. You're too far away in years. So there's only one other person I am aware of that tunes trucks and they don't blow up. Besides myself, and I don't do it. I do not tell people I'm this guru of tuning. I use an official company that dealers use, right? I'm super lucky. I got introduced to them through Highway and Heavy Parts years ago. And I have since become their biggest customer. So now they love me, right? But that relationship took a long time to develop. The only guy I know that is in the United States that tunes trucks that doesn't blow them up is going to be on the show next week.
Yeah,
it's Mark. He's the only guy I've watched consistently.
Phoenix, Texas.
And it's not because I do business with Mark. I watch him on TikTok like everybody else, right?
Yeah.
And he's the only guy I know
Amazing.
tuning trucks that doesn't have people coming on his social media saying this jackass
He
ruined
really
my stuff.
knows what he's doing.
He's got a
really
dyno.
does.
He knows what he's doing. The man is pretty smart, right? We do a lot of custom performance stuff as well. But we also warranty everything we do. And
Yeah, I mean, I've got PDI turbo on it already. PDI intake. It's already got a lot of PDI stuff on it already.
So you should go all the way and put the PDI tuner on it. That's what you should do. You should you should go to Mark or somebody like that. Or me, I sell them too. I believe in that tuner because I know exactly what they're doing. I do the same thing. I just have a company out of Canada do it inside your computer. So you're actually getting a better deal by buying a PDI tuner from me because you get a heads up display that tells you what's going on. You can get inside your computer. There's all these benefits, right? Yeah. But most people leave my shop with a custom tune because that's what people want. But I am not. I don't shy. I will still warranty a job with a PDI tuner on it. I guess that's what I'm getting at, right? So anyway, man,
I'd like to get a cleaned up heavy haul file. That's what I'm looking for. Cleaned up heavy haul file.
Yeah, that's your 600 high torque. That's your 605 high torque build, and your key engine's already capable of it. Nobody should have put any stupid stuff in there, right? That's what's so irritating about it. Is you already have an engine that is capable of hauling 113 to 120,000 up an 18% grade, right?
Good thing you're already in a good position with that truck, you know?
Right.
I mean,
Exactly.
Yeah.
Sitting pretty already.
Yep, man, we're grossing 150 to 170 daily with that truck.
Right. That's the equivalent of hauling 112 up an 18% grade, right? It's the same. It's the same concept. The heaviest load I ever hauled was 149,000. That's what I scaled out at, and I was hauling it on the ice roads, and I hauled 7 of them over a 3-day period, about 56 miles on pure ice, and that was one of the easiest jobs I've ever done in my life. That was nowhere near as hard to do in any way, shape, or form as hauling a load of fuel at 113,000 and pulling an 18% grade for 3 miles and then coming down 5 miles on the other side at the same percent grade, right? That kind of pulling wears out your engine. That kind of pulling wears out everything. You know, the average lifespan of my cats in Alaska was right around 600,000, and that's if we took immaculate care of them. Our Cummins would come apart closer to 4, right around 4, 3 to 4.
That's what I'm scared is going to happen with this one.
But when we
trying to get on the boat behind the pollution.
When we would take them apart, though, they'd be wore out. You got to understand what I'm saying. They wouldn't be messed up. You know, I made it down to North Dakota with all of the same original trucks I had in Alaska. You know, and then bought a bunch more down there. But you know, I'd rebuilt several of them, but almost always they were wore out. You know, just they had massive blow by and none of the rings are broke because there's just nothing left of the liner. They work too damn hard. But that's what you want your engine to fail from. You don't want it to fail because some jackass tune that's in it, right? And so when we build horsepower engines, we're building horsepower engines for guys to wear their engine out. I don't care if you wear your engine out in 400,000 because if you're working that hard, you're making good money. Right?
Keeping the engine efficient instead of just burning it down with heat.
Yeah.
Yep. Anyway, we probably better wrap it up. We went 10 minutes over, which is totally fine. Appreciate you guys coming along for the ride.
Yeah.
I'm going to go ahead and let you go, caller. Thank you very much. We appreciate you.
Thank you, brother. I appreciate it.
Yes, sir. You have a good day.
And Andrew, I appreciate you coming
dude.
on, man.
Yeah,
It's
man.
nice
It's
meeting
nice
you.
to
Really
being a
cool.
guest, your first guest here. Get this thing going for you.
Yeah, you'll have to come back again.
Yeah.
I think the viewers really liked it.
Yeah, I think so. We'll get some
all
more
you TikTok guys that couldn't
dealership
hear the
questions
calls.
maybe next time. Got a lot of gear talk with you and your engine guys. That
Yeah,
called in
yeah.
and
No,
all
it's
that.
good.
So
It's
that's
good.
It's hard to run your business and give advice just for advice. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
During the day when people are calling you and just asking you every single question, but they're not, wanting to do any work with your company, but you want to give them support.
Yeah,
and you want to do a good service to your people and give them good information. But
that's
something
the
like
only
this
reason
is
we're doing it. Right.
The best way
right.
to answer all those questions without it taking into your
and that's
wrench
kind of
turning
our
time.
that's kind of our intent is when the girls answer the phone, the girls will pass a lot of people to me that just need help, and they'll be like, "Will you just help this guy?" Right?
Yeah.
And
We wanna help, too.
especially my wife, she's like, "This guy's called 15 times, so you please just talk to him."
Yeah, that's right.
Like,
we
so
want to help. It's just hard.
And then I finally get to talk to him, and he's like, "I have a B model. Do you know what the engine serial number is?"
Yeah.
How could I possibly know?
Man.
You called 15 times for that, but
That's tough. I get those calls too, but the different
but
application.
and most of the time I can help people out. I always tell people I fix more trucks over the phone than I do in my shop. And there's actually, unfortunately, there's a lot of truth to that. And it's not unfortunate because I didn't make any money. It's unfortunate because that's all time, right?
Yeah, your time's
I only care
valuable
about
and
the
it's supposed
time
to be
thing.
on application.
Right. So that's what this show is for. Is I want to
Yep.
give everybody my time, but we're going to try and limit how much I have to give people time when I'm trying to build an engine or run a business. So
Yeah,
anyway,
same here, man. I'm getting a lot of phone calls about how do I start a business and how do I run my trucking company, and I'd love to teach people what I know and all that kind of stuff. But then again, I've got a business to run too. So yeah, man, podcast is a great way to do it. Give them that support that they want. All
right, guys, we will be here next week. I'm gonna try and do this every week and not miss one. Hey, I had surgery. I'm not even sure how I made it through this,
man. You got through it, and
I was still here. So, how do we wrap it up?
We'll wrap it up, guys. Thank y'all for watching. We really appreciate it, and tune in to the next one. We'll see how it goes. Hopefully, you guys will tune in for the next podcast. Yes,
Mark will be here next Wednesday, and we'll
shot.
do it again, same time, same number, same everything. Thank you all the callers that stayed on hold. One guy stayed on hold for 53 minutes.
Yeah, that's dedication. We love it. Thank you very much.
Yep. Have a good night,
All right.
guys.
Y'all have a good night.